What did he say?
$8 million for making mice transgender.
What?
This is real.
Now, listen, like, there's certain times where somebody says something that's just so absurd, it's just like, that can't be real. Now, mind you, I'm an open-minded guy. You know, I hear something, I'm like, hold on, I've heard some crazy stuff, but sometimes there are some crazy things that happen. So, I'm not going to completely write you off if you say something crazy, but this, come on now. This is like page one of Google. Literally type it in, search it. We have supercomputers in our pockets. Just fact check it. Just fact check it. Just do that. You have the means to do it. Just type in, what is a transgender mouse? Like, are we funding transgender mice? No. Let's talk about it. So when we do a couple of searches, we can find ourselves at the National Cancer Institute. And what Trump was likely referring to was the concept of a transgenic mice, or transgenic mice. So a transgenic mouse. But I think what likely happened was that in their reporting, when they were trying to find what they considered waste, fraud, and abuse, they saw the word trans, and immediately their bigoted brain went, bad, 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 bad. So what are transgenic mice? These are mice that have had DNA from another source put into their DNA. And these mice are used in laboratories to study diseases, mainly how human DNA reacts to certain diseases. So we can import human DNA into these mice and then study how that human tissue or DNA responds to certain genetic diseases. This point furthers that transgenic mice can be used to study gene function or to generate models for human genetic disease. Now, researchers have called these mice a revolutionary research resource for medical advancements. And even after all of this, the White House still doubled down by declaring, yes, Biden spent millions on transgender animal experiments. This is nuts. So if you have the time, I actually want to do one more thing. Trump said that we spent $8 million on these transgender mice, but let's just break down this $8 million because that number is still somewhat accurate, if not pretty close to what we do spend on these studies. But let's just look at these studies real quick and break them down line item by line item. So one line item for $3 million was researching how sex-specific inflammatory mechanisms controlled by hormones may contribute to asthma. So that's just one study. Another study, priced at $1.2 million, indeed used transgenic, not transgender mice. So another $1.2 million. So another study, about $2.5 million, went to a fertility study. And another project looked at how gender hormones affect the gut microbiome of mice. So intestinal health, all of those things, bacteria within the stomach lining, all of that. So there is actually only one study here that even addresses the idea of anything transgender related. It's a $300,000 analysis that studies breast cancer risk for female to male trans individuals taking testosterone. This is still a breast cancer study. So the reason why I really wanted to focus on the specific details of this is because when you are the leader of a nation, your words, they carry credibility, regardless of how trustworthy you are, how inflammatory the things you say, or how outrageous they might be. People trust the stuff you say. Even if you go to the comments of just one of the videos of him stating this, you have comments like, they start with the mice and then go on to the people. It's real. They've been putting it in our food and water. Why do you think our kids are weird? 100% real. It's just begun. Over $1 trillion will be clawed back. No, it was $8.3 million. Like, this is crazy, but people believe this stuff. So it's important that when we see these things being said that are just so outrageous, but these are the things that they are using as gaining credibility or validation for what they're finding, waste, fraud, and abuse. So we get to cut these programs. This is scientific research that is aiding us in the study of diseases. That is not something you want to cut. This is a revolutionary scientific advancement. This is what our scientific researchers are telling us, but we trust this guy. We have to do better. We have to. And because people say stuff like this, they have to be fact checked. That's our duty. We got to fact check these people.